Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. 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 Today we are going to be talking about the Makayla X Glamlite palettes. It is a collaboration with a beauty content creator. I don't know which platform she is on, but she's a beauty content creator. Her name is Makayla. I purchased this palette when it originally launched. I think that was in mid-June, and it took me about 2 weeks to get the palette, which Glamlite, I am used to ordering from them, and I'm not used to it taking them that long. It did take a little long to receive this palette, and then once I received it, it promptly just kind of sat up in my collection, and now I want to share it with you. It is currently on pre-order, and the orders will ship out starting August 30th in the order that they were received. This eyeshadow palette is, I'm going to show you the box first, and this is what it looks like. Nice and glittery, and there's her name there, and it is a 30 color eyeshadow palette. This is Makayla on the back. She's a very pretty girl. I don't know who she is, but she's very pretty. I do know she's a beauty content creator, but I have not seen her, so I'm not sure if she's on YouTube or not, but she's very pretty. The palette itself, and this is just completely my opinion, is a little bit on the gaudy side. You have this glitter here, and my glitter keeps getting stuck, but you have the glitter that floats around on the inside of the palette. I guess it's sort of glam, but a little bit much for my taste, but I guess still pretty at the same time. So this is what it looks like, and then the back just gives you the ingredients. So there are eyeshadows and pressed pigments in this the palette, and there is a decent amount of metallics and mattes in this palette, and I'm going to show you what they look like. So this is what the color story looks like. Come on in. Yeah, there we go. That is what the color story looks like, and you can kind of see the shades that I kind of dipped in today. Very pretty, heavy on the purples and greens, and then you have a couple of rows of your neutral shades here. So that is what that looks like. I did use it to create my look today. I will tell you that I did struggle a little bit with some of the shades that I used. Overall, the experience was pretty good, but I will tell you the ones that I struggled with. I am going to do some swatches of the palette, and I am also going to include the clip of me doing the application of the eyeshadows. So we are going to hop right into it. And like I said before, there are 30 shades, and I am going to swatch them in sort of rows like this, and I will let you know which one I am swatching. I have my handy dandy makeup wipe here. So when we get started, we'll start with the first neutral row, and the first one that I have here is Harley, and this one swatches very well. It's sort of, I was going to say sort of close to my skin tone, but it's not. Very pigmented. This looks pretty nice as a shade to sort of set your eyeshadow primer or your concealer. So very nice. I have foundation on my hand. I am going to wipe that off. And actually, let's go with this hand because I want this hand to dry. And the next one is How You Doing. That one is a little bit closer to my skin tone, so maybe a little bit hard to see, but at the same time still pretty pigmented. The next one is Gemini, which I did sort of use as a transition shade today. And this one here is Gemini. Then you have your first sort of shimmery shade, and that's called What's Poppin'. And that is What's Poppin'. This is like my comfort zone right here. What's Poppin' is my comfort zone. Comfort zone, definitely. So I wanted to try to stay away from like my comfort zone colors today and do something different. The next one here is called Hot Cocoa. Not sure why, because it looks like a sort of brick red shade and not a cocoa shade at all. The last shade on the top row is called Willow. And Willow I did use on my outer V. And I liked it. It was a good shade to sort of deepen up the eyeshadow look. And as I look at these shades here together would actually make a pretty nice eyeshadow look. And I may try that. Alright, so that's the top row. The next row you start off with a, it looks like a shimmer. It could be a glitter, not sure. I think it's a metallic. And it looks like it might be a little bit dew. It's just a metallic. But this one is called Glow Up. The next one is a matte. Really pigmented. Kind of powdery. And this one is called Simba. And then after that you have another metallic. And it's called Accent. Accent is sort of my comfort zone as well. And there is only a little bit of difference between the top one and then the third one to me. This one just looks a little bit more pink. Next you have another matte, and this one is called Buffalo Chicken. And Buffalo Chicken looks like that. That is the strangest name for an eyeshadow. And next to that is the color that I used on my lid. And I will tell you, I did have a little bit of issue with this one. It was very crumbly. I did end up using my finger to finish applying it, but this one is called Manifest. This was very pretty. This is a very pretty shade. And then the last one on this row is called Cookie. And Cookie is pretty also. And this one here is Cookie. I don't understand why my swatches seem to go to the right or the left. It kind of slant. I don't know. I'm just not a good swatcher. The next row is your first sort of what I consider a colorful row. And the first shade is a bright pink, blue pink, like blue base pink matte. And this is called Iconic. Right beside that is a pink metallic, and it is called Simping. Okay, somebody tell me what that means, simping. Next to that is another metallic, and this one is called Immaculate. Immaculate is also gorgeous. Next to that is a sort of lavender matte, and I did use that in my crease today. And this one is called MJ. And then you have your classic purple. This one is more of a satin though. This one is not. It's like a metallic at all. And then this one is called New Beige. Explain to me why a traditional sort of lilac-y purple shimmery shade is called New Beige. Makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. But that is New Beige. And then the last one on this row is called Nahs. N-A-H-S. I know she said that this is her in a palette, so I'm sure that has some sort of reference. And this is Nahs. When you look at it, it does have a little bit of a purple tint to it. On here it looks silver. When you look into the pan, it does have like a bluish purple tint to it. But I did use this one in my inner corner today. We are on the fourth row. And the first one is called The Best Color. And this one is sort of a minty green shade. Very powdery, but very pigmented. This is called The Best Color. Right beside that is another green, sort of a grass green shade. Gorgeous. And this one is called Bonehead. And next to Bonehead is another green metallic. I don't know how to explain. It's like an acid green or something. But this one is called Stunning. Stunning. And then next to that you have a purple metallic. And this one is called Portuguese. I don't know, Portuguese, but gorgeous. And then you have no fingers left. Wipe those off. Oh, this is a mess. Okay. I don't want to wipe that on my pants. Okay, and then you have a matte sort of mid-tone, sort of berry-like purple called Pot 2, P-A-H-T, Pot 2. And that is that right there. And then on the end, you have sort of a sky blue shade, and it is called Rhodey. So that is the 4th row. And we are going to swatch this last row, and my hands are getting stained. All right. All right, so we are going to swatch the last row of shadows in this palette. The first one is a metallic, sort of dark teal, and it is gorgeous. This is a one swatcher. I don't even know why I went back in, but this is called Audrey. Really pretty. And next to Audrey is called Freetown. And they almost look like the same shade, but one is a matte and one is a metallic. Next to that, you have one that will go very well with that shade, Stunning. And this is called Loop. So another sort of acid green. And if you look at this hand, you can see like the counterpart to it on this hand here. Next to that is the yellow in the palette. And yellows are notoriously hard to do, but this is called Handy. Not too bad. There are 2 left in the palette, and let's clean my fingers real quick. Just FYI, I think that some of these may stain your eyelids. Like, look at mine, it kind of stained my fingernail. The next to the last shade is another purple shade, and this one is called Frisky, and pigmented, very powdery, a little bit patchy when I swatched it. I don't know if it was because my finger might have been a little bit wet. And then the last one is sort of a royal blue shade, and this one is called Mass Hole, and that is that there at the bottom. So these are the last 2 rows, and those are all of the swatches in the palette. I think that the color story is very pretty, a little bit heavy on the purple and the greens, but I am happy with the fact that she did add 2 decent rows of neutrals for you to create so many looks with this palette. The formula, for the most part, seems very nice. I would say with the metallics, if you plan to put them on your lids, use your fingers, because they were pretty chunky. At least that Manifest was pretty chunky when I used my brush to put it on my lids. And I don't even know why I did that, because I know better. But yeah, I would say use your fingers for the most part. And then you can go back and use a brush and kind of define it. The mattes, that purple. Now, I'm not, the Gemini, which is this shade here, this shade right here, was pretty easy to sort of blend out. I did have a little bit of issue with this purple, and I know purples are kind of hard to do at the same time. So it was a little bit patchy, and it took quite a bit of blending out, and then I had to add like another sort of purple on top of it, and I think I used Frisky on top of that one. But I am happy. Let's see. I'll show you my eyes. I am pretty happy with the look that I came up with today. And like I said, I used Manifest on my lids. I used this MJ in the crease, and I used Frisky like tightly in the crease and on the outer V. And then to darken the outer V, I used this shade here, which is Willow, I think. Yeah, Willow. And I used NARS in the inner corner. I also did my lower lash line with a little bit of Willow, which is this one. And then I went with New Beige, which is this one on the lower lash line. And also with, this is hard, with Manifest also. So I did get, I think, a good use of the palette today doing this eyeshadow look. Just to like quickly go over it, I did decide to like do something pretty toned down with the cheeks on with this eyeshadow look. So I did use one of the Blush Without Caution blushes from Pat McGrath, and I used it in the shade, I think that this is Divine Rose. That's funny because, yeah, Skin Fetish Divine Blush Divine Rose. So that is what that looks like. So I did use that on my cheeks today. On my lips, I did use the Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Bubble Binge. And I think this is what I was saying before. So it looks super bright in the tube, but once you put it on your lips, it is really wearable. I also used, foundation wise, I used the Fenty Eavesdrop Skin Tint. I have the shade 17, and my concealer was the Rare Beauty in the shade 410N. I also set my makeup today with the Tatcha, the Silk Powder. This stuff is so good. Like, it erases the pores, definitely. As a base for my eyeshadows today, I used the Eye Prime Eye Primer from Juvia's Place. Not sure if this has anything to do with the fact that my eyeshadow was a little bit difficult and patchy to put on, because this does not completely dry down. And then the mascara I used today is from Milk Makeup, and it is the Kush Waterproof Mascara. So that is just a little round up of everything else that is on my face today. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you are already subscribed, please make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I have a new video coming out. Have a great day, and may your day be as flawless as your makeup.